Our first speaker for eXL Day 3 is Mr. Rick Flath. We are so glad that he is here with us to share his valuable thoughts about AWS certification paths. For the past 26 years, Rick has worked in the education and consulting industry in various roles including inside sales, enterprise sales, and management. Currently, he is the Senior Partner Manager focusing on vendor partner reseller training for AWS, Cisco, F5, and Microsoft, as well as developing learning solutions for enterprise, corporate, federal, and SLG clients. As a retired Marine, he enjoys serving his veterans and their family as a member of VFW and Marine Corps League. As a reminder to all our attendees, this conference is being recorded. We will have Q&A at the end of the presentation. Please use the Q&A tool if you have a question for the speaker. Over to you, Rick. Please share your content and unmute yourself. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. My name is Rick Flath, and as Sana so well said, I'm the Senior Partner Manager at TLG Learning, and without further explanation of who and what I am, you guys already got that rundown. Let's jump into it and stuff and get this going. I'm going to have my camera on a little bit along the way too, so again, if you have any questions, that way you can ask them through the question chat tool that we have there, and let's get into this. So the name of the game is AWS certification, and what it's all about today is us talking about AWS, the learning paths, the certifications, and the roadmaps that are out there for you. And again, I want to give you guys a real understanding of why we're talking about this today, because again, it's a huge opportunity for individuals and corporations because there's a huge need in the cloud. So why? As you read this paragraph here, look at the numbers there. 12.4 million for 2021. It's just astonishing. There's a huge gap. 240,500 this year. 309 million employer jobs posting in 2020. And it keeps going and growing and growing. So the opportunity is huge, but you need to understand this roadmap, and you need to understand the opportunity and the certification, which will validate your skills and help you. So what I hope to do today is share this with you in a way that you'll see the journey of becoming an AWS cloud professional and getting those certifications. So our agenda for today, first and foremost, will be the learning roadmap of AWS. What is that journey from foundational through associate to professionals at the specialty levels? Then we'll also talk about what is AWS certification? Why AWS certification? The benefits of getting certified for you individually and for a corporation. We're also going to talk about the roadmap for that certification, as well as potential top 10 certifications out there in the cloud. Okay, so the roadmap itself starts out for AWS certification with foundational courses. Those foundational courses are the starting point for all individuals to move on from their journey. And in this scenario, it gives you that kickoff point, just like those level 100 courses you might have taken in college, to begin the understanding of the platform, as well as depending what track you're going on. Then there's going to be 3 paths for you after the foundational courses. The first path is architecting, the most highly sought out path. 42% of the people go into that path that are out there. And then there's the developer path where you have about 6 to 9%, then the operations another 6 to 9%. So when you think about that and those paths that are there, they're very focused in regards to achieving those skill sets for being an architect. And when I say architect, not from someone who's necessarily always designing the platform and everything else, but understanding the administration, the maintaining, the supporting, and everything else. Just like a developer, they're taking applications or web applications that they're building and running in the cloud. And an operation is that lifecycle development component that goes from end-to-end lifecycle for AWS and managing and supporting them. Then there's those specialty areas, databases, data analytics, machine learning, security, SAP on AWS, which is a fairly new certification and learning path, and then of course advanced networking. So from the foundational standpoint, as we look at this component, you can see there's three different areas that we focus on. The first one is business users. Each individual in this industry will have various needs of understanding that they need to know to make decisions. So from the business users, there's two courses. There's the AWS Cloud Essentials for business leaders. This is to empower and enable them who are business leaders to understand the cloud, the impact, and how it can help them run their business, drive their revenue, and support a change of how IT is done, going from a capital expense to an operational expense. The next one is AWS Cloud Essentials for business leaders, but financial services. So when we think financial services, we're being very specific here, targeted on banking industry, security industry, insurance industry, those types of companies, because it's a little bit different what they have to deal with. So again, there was 2 half-day courses that were developed by AWS for that. The next level we see is for sales, marketing, operational support users, and those IT professionals that want to get their cloud certification. Fundamentals training, which would be the cloud practitioner. That course is designed for someone to have that understanding, to support, to work with, to communicate the terms and as well as concepts of AWS across the board when you think about compute, as well as networking, data, storage, and security. And that one-day course takes you into a role where you can get certified. And as I tell most people, and I love what Maury shared earlier about certification, you got to take time. You know, it's experience combined with training combined with exam prep. And Maury was really focusing on, you got to take time to have exam prep. And on this cloud practitioner, you're looking at, you know, a one-day course, then you're following up with about 10 to 12 hours of exam prep before you take the exam. I did the training on a Thursday and Friday. It was 2 half-day sessions. On Monday, I took the exam and passed. But again, I put the time in to prepare for the exam. IT professionals now. For those individuals, we have the AWS Technical Essentials. This course is 1 day as well. But again, it's a foundational course for everyone that's going to be in the associate level tracks that take you from architect to developer to operations. And here they're going to get really dirty because they're going to have 6 labs in this course to really bring to life those concepts and the tools and features and functionalities that are used by AWS to support compute, networking, data storage, and security in the cloud on the platform for AWS. And again, this is the take someone and get them going and give them that foundation. There's security essentials. That 1 day course is designed to do one thing too, which is to help an individual move forward with understanding the security concepts, supporting the security nature. So if you have a SOC group or you have a security team and the cloud is being used, this class helps give them that foundational level. And then of course, as I said earlier, the cloud practitioner is another course that you can leverage too. So let's break it down now to the architect path. You're an architect and you want to get into this and you want to be able to administer and support it. Your path will start off with the essentials, as I talked about. Then you'll get into the architect and AWS associate level training. Again, that's the most popular class by AWS. 42% of them are taking that training. And that 3 day course is designed to give you those skills as an architect at the first level. The next level course up from there is the Advanced Architecting on AWS. It's a professional level training class. And this one here is usually for someone that's got 1 year to 2 years of experience in architecting with AWS, and then takes them to the next level concepts and really from an architecting across the board professional level where you are building out and supporting AWS and its platform across the board with the development team as well as the operations team to ensure that what you've built out can support the business needs for your team or your client. Now, a lot of companies today are coming from a data center environment, which is on premise, and they want to go to the cloud. So the migrating to AWS is a way of learning in this 3-day course that will take you from point A, which is on premise, and then coming up with a plan to go to the cloud. And that migrating class gives you those key roadmap skill sets and understanding how can you make that journey real, because again, you just can't flip the switch and then all of a sudden you're in the cloud. You have to have a plan to do that, and that migrating to AWS will help you with that. And the last course there, AWS Well Architect Best Practices, is a great class. It's covered in the a little bit in the Tech Essentials, a lot more in the architecting in AWS and more in advanced architecting, but this course is a 1-day course designed to help you really understand those practices, because again, it's an investment. You want to go from a capital expense to an operational expense. You want to move things to the cloud. You want to be able to run things in the cloud with security. You want to be able to leverage everything that's there with your team. Those best practices are key for everything, and AWS, through their 5 pillars, really focus on that. So let's jump in now to developer, now that we covered the architecting path. Developer path. You see a trend here? AWS Tech Essentials, that 1-day course. Architecting in AWS is optional. I find that many developers and system operations people will love to take the architecting still before they jump in it, because they need to understand the portal. Because developing is not writing code for the cloud, it's taking applications and putting them in the cloud and understanding the SDKs and how you can do that. And in the Developing on AWS associate level course, which is 3 days long, you'll get those skill sets to do that. And again, in that training, it's all about you understanding how can you put an application in the cloud, ensure that it has the right compute power, networking setup, and data and storage, because you have to have that for an application, as well as security wrapped around it. There's also an advanced developing on the AWS course, and that's something that's been around for about 18 months now. And they developed that course because there are patterns and needs for people that are going to become DevOps engineers. And usually someone who's becoming a DevOps engineer will have 2 to 3 years of experience. And that advanced developing was that gap that they wanted to support, to help people get to that professional level of certification, which was the DevOps engineering. So again, those 3 key courses, Developing AWS, Advanced Developing AWS, and DevOps engineering, are the heart for anyone that's going to be a developer. Now, there are some companies out there that are running applications in the cloud without an operating system. And when you think about that, it's containers, it's microservices. And in this course, Running Containers on Amazon Elastic Kubernetes, you will learn how you can do that and have that come to life also. It's a very efficient way of running applications. But again, you need to understand the tools and features and functionalities to make that real. And that last one you see there, Developing Serverless Solutions on AWS, is another example of a course. Instead of using Kubernetes, it's serverless solutions with Lambda and things like that that are available too, with functionalities that are there already. So again, all these courses that you see here are geared towards a development path. So operations. The operations path, again, Tech Essentials, there's my common thread that I've been talking about. And in this one here, you're going to jump in. Again, architecting is an option, but then you'll have the associate level system operations. Again, maintaining, managing, patching the actual platform, the applications, and everything that's up there going on. This is really geared towards those who are in the operations side of the house. And I find that this course here, when they take the architecting, as I've listed there first, helps them again, because it helps them bridge that gap and understanding that actual platform, again, from a standpoint of the compute, the network, the data, the storage, as well as security. And then that last course is the DevOps engineering on AWS for professional level. Now, a person could do the advanced developing course that I mentioned earlier. It's not necessary in this route, but again, you're going to have 2 to 3 years of experience before you jump into that level of training for anyone in both the developer path or the operations path. So we're going to get in now to some of the specialty paths that are out there. And the first one is databases. Database is a big component of it. And in this scenario here, planning and designing database in AWS is a key component for that. And this course here also has a certification that's geared towards it, which we'll talk about more, which is databases itself. That 3-day course is designed to help you with the understanding of the plan of your data, and then designing it and connecting it and having to be part of the whole platform for AWS. Again, someone usually will have an architecting background before they do this, or minimum a tech essentials, an understanding of the platform, and years of experience working from the data. So this would be like a database engineer from your company that would be doing this. And then you got the data warehousing on AWS, another course that is available out there for people that will help them from a warehouse perspective and moving and having things supported in the cloud that way. Data analytics. Now, so you got databases, but data analytics, and that's all about business intelligence. And it's really important because today we can't make decisions without insights, and we need that data. So data analytics right now is set up by 3 courses that are out there. Building data lakes on AWS, that's a 1-day course. Building batch data analytics solutions on AWS, another 1-day course, and followed by building batch data analytics solutions on AWS using Amazon Redshift. And Redshift is one of those tools that are part of the 5,500 plus features and functionalities that AWS has that allows you to do data analytics and set up things effectively. They used to have a course, as it states there in the last bullet, Big Data on AWS. It was retired on June 30th, and a new course will be released in early 2023. And that 3-day course will, I am sure, cover many of the topics that are in those 1-day courses there. What we have done, just to make it easier for people that are looking at data analytics and also looking at certification, we put those classes in order, just like they're stated there. So when you want to get into big data and or get certified, you can get those classes 3 days in a row while we wait for the new course to be released by AWS. Now, we looked at business intelligence, but now we got machine learning, or as I call AI, artificial intelligence. This is a big area as well, because when you think about AI and what's happening today and information that's artificially being captured on devices, we all have stoves and refrigerators and things at home, or cars. At least most of us have a car. And today there is machine learning connected to those types of devices and or machinery that allows us to collect data and information. And what I always like is that, well, you need to change your filter, or you need to do this on your computer, on your car is broken, and they give you a warning and they send you an email. Well, it's the same thing at home too, on your home equipment that you have, from a TV to a stereo to a refrigerator or a stove. It allows you to be able to have preventative maintenance because it's evaluating things if it's connected to the internet to be able to collect that data. So the Practical Data Science and Amazon SageMaker is a 1-day course that is a tool that is used to help work with machine learning. Then there's an actual 4-day machine learning pipeline on AWS. And again, these data scientists, these individuals who are dealing with artificial intelligence and using this platform would be dealing with this course. And that's the main one that's set up also for certification. But there's also a new course they got. Just like there's DevOps, there's machine learning ops and engineering on AWS. And again, you have to think about that workflow and how do you operate it from end to end to make sure that you have a very effective solution from a machine learning standpoint. Again, that 3-day course is there now. It was released about a year ago to help support those DevOps operational things that are connected to machine learning. Security. Wow. That's a big one for everyone. Security is huge today, and we need to make sure that our platform in the cloud is secure. And for someone going through this track, architecting AWS is essential. You have to have that background before you get into security, because you need to understand the platform across the board. From that, you probably heard me say it before, compute, network, data storage, and security perspective. And then you need to jump into security essentials on AWS. This is your introductory to security and how it comes together. And hopefully this individual who's from security has a CISSP certification or a CSAP certification or a certified ethical hacker. They're part of your security team or operations team or SOC team, because they need to have that understanding of security in your domain and what's set up. And then that security engineering on AWS course, which is a 3-day course, which is also mapped towards the certification, is available for them. That course now will take all the tools that are out there for security and ensuring that your cloud solution on the AWS platform is secure. And again, you got an AWS Security Best Practices course and a Security Governance at Scale. Again, 2 key 1-day courses that are out there to help support your learning and understanding of security, very specific and best practices. We all want those when we do things, as well as governance. We want to make sure that we follow policy, procedures, and governance of our company to ensure that we maintain that security nature. There we go. Sorry about that. Especially on SAP on AWS. This is a new course, came out about 6 months ago. And this course is designed for people who are using SAP and on top of AWS and need to support it. They have the cloud practitioner level, the tech essential levels, and they got the 3-day SAP on AWS, which is also a certification now that's available for individuals and students to support SAP environment that you have. Again, this is very focused on SAP, but running on AWS. And the last one is advanced networking. There is no specific class for advanced networking. There is a digital learning plan available from AWS, but this is really designed for someone who is at that advanced level of networking that needs to really be able to look at all things from a very high level perspective, ensuring that everything from an architecture at that level is being supported. Again, no class, it's really years of experience. And again, it also ties back to a certification that's out there that AWS has, but there is a whole roadmap available for individual class that are on demand, that are e-learning type, that you can take free them from AWS to help you prepare for that certification and that role. So we've covered the roadmaps, we've covered what's out there from architect to developer to system operations to the specialty courses. Let's talk about what is AWS certification. Because again, to me, we need to know what it is. So if you read this paragraph here, I hate reading things like this, but I think it's important that you see it and read it, is that this is designed for someone to obtain a professional credential that is verifiable and validates your skills from a standpoint of passing one or more tests that are out there that support AWS. That means you are validated and have those skills. And these tests are not easy. That's why it's experience combined with training, combined with exam prep. They don't want just a piece of paper. And back in the 1990s and stuff, it was a lot of paper certifications out there. AWS really wants to make sure that you're validating you have these skills. And you'll see later when we get to the final part of our presentation here about those certifications and how they compare from different organizations as top ones. And you'll see that AWS is doing very well based on that. Again, in this area, you'll see there's foundational, associate level, professional, and then specialty. And in the learning paths that we cover, all that was mentioned. But again, it's a roadmap. It's a journey for you. And again, it's going to take experience combined with training, combined with certification to get to your certification level. So why AWS certification? If you're serious about your IT career, the computing, getting highly certified is recommended from the get-go. It can help you. I'm certified cloud practitioner. I need to understand AWS as a senior partner manager, not from doing the work, but being able to have a discussion and really lead people in a learning plan to develop it. So I got certified. And you'll see here, there's some great numbers here. Stand out among the competition. AWS is currently achieving year-on-year growth of 43%. It's huge. The opportunity is there. And our organization, TLG Learning, is working with AWS to constantly drive certified professionals with experience and skills to help support their huge demand of need of employees. Find a job in a general and faster. You think about that, 33% of the cloud is owned and controlled by AWS. So there's a need, there's a market, your opportunity. You just need to get through that. We all like better pay. I don't think I need to say that, but it's right there. And a certified individual earns as much as 25.9% more than a non-certified professional on an annual income of $113,932. That's pretty impressive. We all want to be satisfied in our job and who we are and what we do, but it's always nice to get paid well for what we do, and certification will help you. And again, it's an investment in your career. And is it worth making? That's the thing I always ask people. Are you worth investing in yourself? I believe so. I've invested in myself. I've been working in this industry in the education since I retired from the Marine Corps since 1996. And it's been a long journey, but all along the way, I've gotten certified in many different areas to support what I do today. And again, it's just a benefit to you, and I'm worth it, and so are you. So the value of getting certified from a company standpoint for AWS, and again, I'm using some research information here from ESG research white paper, and you can read that there, but when you read that, 97% say their organization employment of such staff puts their company in a better competitive position to succeed over the next 3 to 5 years. Companies are looking for certified professionals because they're validated. They know what AWS certification means, and they want people who are experienced and certified to join them so they can be successful at taking advantage of the cloud. And the biggest driving compelling thing for a company is to take an expense that's IT that from the old days has been a capital expense, because you got a building, you got the power, you got the cooling, you got the servers, the hardware, all that stuff, and move it to the cloud. By moving to the cloud, you eliminate many of those areas, and you allow your company now to go to an operational expense. And for them, that operational expense is less than the capital expense by 1 to 4 times, depending on your company, if not higher. But more importantly, now your IT professionals can innovate and do more things to create better opportunities for the company regarding their IT deliverables to support their business, which really the bottom line is their revenue. And of course, that last statement there, why? Staff achievements of AWS certification bolster operational advantages, including helping organizations complete cloud projects faster and improve workload security. So again, security is the top thing, the workloads being completed, and being successful at delivering that platform effectively across the cloud and making that capital expense become operational. So what is the value of getting AWS certified for a company from a standpoint of the staff? You can read there those percentages, and you think about that. These professionals that are the individuals for a company, they believe that 90% agree that their employees AWS certified has made the cloud team more productive. That's not a bad number, 90% more productive. The complete projects, 89%. Improve the security of the cloud workloads, 86%. 89% able to troubleshoot faster, and 90% to lead projects with other staff who are not certified more efficiently. Those things are near and dear to a company and for individuals. So there's a personal reason, not just from a company, but now from their standpoint of the numbers that was generated here that allow you to see the success that you have in getting AWS certified. So we know what a company wants, what they're looking for. How about the individuals directly? Professional credibility. Everyone likes that. In the Marine Corps, I was a gunnery sergeant. I earned that rank because I did my job through the many years I was in the service, and I went up the chain of command in rank, but also responsibility, and allowed me to manage people like in Desert Storm, over 80 people in a platoon. Those types of things are important. And so that professional credibility, that success that you have is huge for an individual. That personal satisfaction is another key topic. In the Marine Corps, before I became a senior staff NCO as a gunnery sergeant, I was a sniper. And, you know, being able to take the weapon and be able to support what I do downrange and supporting my country and everything else in my role as a sniper was key. And that personal satisfaction, knowing that I could get to the location, do my job if needed, was huge. But also be able to use the weaponry that I was trained on effectively was a big part of it too. Having that confidence working with AWS as an expert with certification is the same thing. It's that personal satisfaction that you accomplished something and it feels good about it. So now you have the validation of the credential, but you also have the personal satisfaction, because every one of us, I believe, loves when you complete things. And then, of course, it's always nice to get paid more. Salary is nice. And again, make over 10,000 more than those who just have one certification on their resume. So keep that in mind. This is a personal thing that you get when you're certified. It helps you a ton. Continuing on in this, individual for certification job search. You get to dictate where you go and what you do when you're certified on AWS. And find that right company match and leverage what you've done and attained along the way in a way that will allow you to really grow within the career, but also get to that position where you want to be. And it's interesting today, I noticed that many people in this industry in organizations will be there for 2 or 3 years and they move on. And certification is what's allowing many of them to do that, because it allows them to get to a role and position that challenges them and allows them to be more innovative and also make an impact. And then, of course, that professional growth. So you got the pay, you got the validation of who you are, and you got the ability to search for a job, but you got that growth. Career advancement often requires you to learn new technology or enhance the skills you're currently possessing. Well, in IT today, if we're not learning, we're not growing. And if we're not growing, we're not achieving the goals that we have before us. Again, all these things were provided by me through ESG research white papers. They're available if you do want that. I can get that information to you. So again, we've been talking about certifications, the value from a company, a value from an individual, and again, the roadmap itself. And again, I talked about the foundational level, the cloud practitioner. I talked about the associate. You notice there's 1 year of experience there usually when you're going for that. Solution architect, developer, system operations. Those are the 3 tracks. The professional level, 2 years or more of experience for a solution architect or for DevOps engineering. And then for those that are specializing, we talked about advanced networking, data analytics, databases, machine learning, security, and SAP on AWS. All those are designed to help you in that regards to move forward with what you have. I've been saving this for the very end, and I want to bring it up so you can see it and really focus on it. Potential impact, 10 best cloud certifications for 2021. As you look at this slide, when you look at the columns, GK, a Skillsoft company, a large training company, has listed out the top 10. Geeks for geeks. I want to come from another perspective. These are the geeks that are out there, IT professionals, as I call them, that have their own little niche group, and what they see is the top certifications. And then from Java 67, another user group that's very large and represents the open source market, their perspective. And again, this is what they say are the top IT certifications for the cloud. But notice AWS right off the bat. I told you 42% of people take architect in AWS. That's their number one class. And the number one certification is the Solution Architect Associate for AWS. On all three of these groups, from open source to the IT community to a training company that's global in nature. Look at number 2 there. You see MS Azure comes up, but then you see the professional and cloud practitioner from the other two. Then you see developer coming up. One has it 4, one has it as 3. System operation is 4 or 7. So my point here that I'm sharing with everyone is this: the opportunity is huge. There's a need out there for AWS certified professional. The number one, based on these organizations and companies' data that they've compiled, is a solution architect. Are you ready to jump into the cloud? Are you ready to make your journey in your career in IT come to life with even more opportunities? Well, AWS could be that roadmap for you. And with that in mind, if you have any questions, please feel free to bring them up in the chat. But more importantly, for taking the time to be part of this Extreme Labs presentation for eXL 2022, we're offering anyone a 25% discount off AWS training and certification through the end of September. And again, we really look forward to supporting you and getting you that information. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. I can see that I forgot to put the link in there, so I apologize for that, because it says insert a link here that we can track for this promotion. Well, we didn't do that, so I apologize for that. And again, I'm going to turn over to the team at Extreme Labs and answer any questions that we might have.